Hello, everyone. We're all in the era of AI, very eager to build applications around large language models, small language models, and many of us would have actually played around with models on the cloud. But what if there is a regulated industry, something like a healthcare or a financial services industry, where I would need to bring in models on the edge infrastructure or do local model development on my own company provided laptop, these models or build these models on my PC and have them deployed on the edge. So, edge inferencing becomes more relevant when it comes to some of these models. For example, consider a car infotainment system where the inferencing needs to happen then and there in the car, or a remote healthcare provider, or a remote bank in some corner where you do not want the inferencing to happen on the cloud, but rather you want it to happen on the edge. Also, what would be the footprint of such models that you would develop on your local PC so that it runs on an edge infrastructure? What are the kind of memory requirements? And how can I enable local model development and local usage of some of these models in building intelligent applications? Recently, in our Build conference, we announced Windows AI Foundry, a comprehensive end to end toolkit for development on local Windows PCs and usage of these models or deployment of these models on local PCs and inferencing on edge infrastructure. Let's explore what is Windows AI Foundry. So, Windows AI Foundry is the best in class AI development platform for developers to do local model development on their own PC. By the way, I am recording this demo on a Copilot Plus PC, which is equipped with CPU, GPU, or an NPU, which can help me work on my AI workloads. In this PC, I have a bunch of AI models which are already available to me on my PC and or on my laptop, and I could get any kind of open source model, deploy it on my laptop and do local development. How does this differ from cloud development? So typically on the cloud, you provision the model on the cloud and you develop APIs and applications around these models, and the models as well as the apps reside on the cloud in some shape and form in a PaaS service or an infrastructure as a service. But what if I want to do local model development, right? So that's where Windows AI Foundry comes into picture, where you can bring in open source models, you can bring in your own Windows ML models, or you can fine tune and work upon the open source models that you've gotten. So it's a complete end-to-end comprehensive tooling ecosystem. So let's see what is there in Windows AI Foundry. So typically when you see in AI Foundry, you this is the cloud variant of the AI Foundry, right? Where I have all the foundation models, I have the vertical models, I can even bring in open source models, but this is all happening on the cloud. But like I said earlier, if I want to deploy something on the edge infrastructure, that's where the Foundry local comes into picture, and that's where some of the features of the Azure AI Foundry are available to me locally on the Copilot PC that I have. That's where the Foundry local comes into picture, and it is part of Windows AI Foundry. Now, what constitutes Windows AI Foundry? Let's understand that. One is definitely the Windows ML ecosystem, where it enables you to learn your machine learning workloads across CPU, GPU, or NPU processors. And you can choose the kind of models, deploy those models on all Onyx based models. You can deploy it on the Windows ML runtime, and thereby you can either use the existing open source models or you can curate your own set of models. So that's the runtime that's available for you. Now, along with that, you also have a set of models that are there, which are part of the Foundry local. This is the local variant of the Azure AI Foundry, and I can install Foundry local installable, and I can deploy and run any kind of model that I want. And just like the way you have a model catalog in the Azure AI Foundry, you also have it in the Windows AI Foundry. Or, for example, you could have a 5 silica kind of a model running on an Onyx runtime, on the Windows AI, on the Windows ML landscape. Plus, you also have something called as AI APIs. And these AI APIs are available to you where it's the models which are available to you in the form of an API endpoint. Here, you don't exactly deploy a model, but rather you use the model endpoint and start consuming the model. So I have installed this app from the Microsoft App Store called AI Dev Gallery. And this is where I have a bunch of features where I can try out AI locally on my PC without hitting the cloud. And if you see, there's also a model catalog. These are the bunch of models. It is categorized by either it's a language model or what are the kind of multimodal models that I have. And typically these are small language models because the footprint that you have in terms of CPU and memory to do training or inferencing from these models, it is quite small. Hence, you will typically see small language models, all the mini variants which are there. So these are all the various kind of models that are available to me according to the task that I want to perform. And I also have a playground experience where I can try out models with different categories. So today we'll explore one particular model. So let's say I'm looking at a text generation model, and this text generation model, so this is a playground that's coming up. What I have done here is I have installed 5.4 Mini, a CPU based model on the Onyx runtime on Windows AI Foundry. I've still not looked at the AI APIs or Foundry local. We'll come to that later. But I have installed a 5.4 Mini CPU on the Onyx runtime, and that's the model that I'm going to use. So how do I install that? It's very easy. I can just go ahead and look at the available models. For example, if I say I'm looking at a 5.3 Mini and I download this, I accept the license terms and conditions. I download this model. It takes a while uh, from when I actually go ahead and click the download button. Once it downloads, you can see that model in the cache here. So let me just showcase that. So if you come here, there is a model cache, and this is where I have installed my existing models. Once the model has been downloaded, it comes on to my model cache. And once it is available in the model cache, I can use that model. For example, if you see here, 5.4 Mini CPU, I have already installed that. So let me go back and try the generate text example with the 5.4 Mini CPU model, which I've already installed on this system, and it's available to me in the model cache. Now, let's say I have a query, and just like any other text generation model, I am going to maybe give it a topic and say, hey, explain model quantization to me, and let's see if it is able to generate the output. So you see that in a quick millisecond latency, it just comes up and it gives me a good understanding of what is model quantization, and it gives me a quick response. Now, this is a local model that is running on the Onyx runtime in the Windows AI Foundry. And that's where the model has been deployed, and that's where the inferencing also has happened. Now, imagine the kind of use cases that you would typically see here, right? Which is any kind of handheld devices, mobile phones, tablets, or powered with high power CPUs or GPUs or NPUs can typically host these fine-tuned models, for example, or it could even be industry-based models where I take a open source or an open weight model, fine-tune that, and get my own custom version of the model, and now I deploy the model. And without even having connectivity to the internet or without even having um, this deployed on the cloud infrastructure, I can try it out on a local system. Just a quick recap. I have installed AI Dev Gallery application from the Microsoft App Store, and from there I have gotten on to install 5.4 Mini model. The model is available in my model cache, and I have picked up this model, and that's where I'm able to pick up one task and try out this task. So if I want to generate an image generation model, I would go ahead and install the corresponding models for image generation. In this case, I've already installed Stable Diffusion model. It takes a while for the model to load, but once it loads, I can uh, basically use this model to generate an image. So Windows AI Foundry is going to be the next big thing for us to do local model development. Happy model development on Windows AI Foundry.